Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Please take note of the disclaimers and also just want to say that viewers' discretion is advised on this case. The case I'm going to be covering today is that of Yasser Said, who murdered his two daughters, Sarah and Amina Said. They were two teenage sisters from Texas. Apparently it was a honor killing, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to go through the case and see. Let's just see what you think. Said was born in Sinai, Egypt. He came to the US on a student visa in 1983, and he there met a 15-year-old called Patricia Owens. They got married when she was 15. They got married, and Amina was born in 1989 and Sarah was born in 1990. They also had a son named Islam Said, who was born in 1988. So the dynamics of the family were not that great. Said managed to get work as a taxi driver, but according to reports, the girls have stated that Said had physically and sexually abused them. And Amina actually told authorities that she had been penetrated by her father at least once. Now, this was investigated and the case of sexual abuse was dropped. Interestingly, the girl's mother, Patricia, whom Yasser married when she was 15, he was 30 at the time, also said that he had been abusive and abused her during their marriage. Very early on in this case, there's two red flags that have gone up for me. Yasser was 30 years old when he was in the US, when he married a 15-year-old girl called Patricia. Red flag. And secondly, when Amina and Sarah were younger, they accused their father of physically and sexually abusing them. Red flag too. As the story starts to come out, we hear a lot of disturbing things that Yasser would engage in with his daughters. That's kind of, I would say, inappropriate. Now, he would often have a video camera and he would be constantly recording them. On occasion, he recorded them when they were asleep, and obviously when they've woke up, and he's been standing over them with a camera filming them. And I think in one video, he said to one of the girls who was just in a pair of leggings, I think it was, in bed, and sort of said, "Nice legs." I don't know what type of father would, do that. She was trying to hide herself with the pillow, and he sort of pulled the pillow and said, "Oh, nice legs." Now, that to me is disturbing and inappropriate. Amina got a job in a little convenience store, and even when she was in there, he began to go into the store and start filming her while she was serving customers. And I think he made a comment because she smiled at the customers after obviously she served them, which is what you do. He made a comment, he was unhappy with that, and he made a comment, why is she smiling at this man or whatever. And you can hear in the video a woman's voice. Now, I believe it could be the mother, although there's no confirmation of that. And whoever that woman was is heard to say, she has to smile, it's her job.
Get out! I'm erasing this tape.
No, you can't.
Yes, I will.
Are you drunk?
This is illegal. Do I videotape you when you're sleeping?
Hey, get Sarah.
These are videos that have rarely been seen.
Well, look at these eyes. If I put my eye on you.
I'm gonna get sick now.
This is Yasser Said
Okay, turn it off, Dad.
with his teenage daughters, Amina and Sarah.
He followed them everywhere, and he recorded their every move.
Here, he's keeping an eerie watch on Sarah at work.
She smiled to the customers.
Bubba, she has to. Part of her job.
She's in trouble.
But problems with their dad went back years. When they were younger, the girls told police he was sexually abusing them. This is him again behind the camera.
Nice legs. I got this. Take this blanket from this one in the back.
No!
Go.
No! Get away!
Take.
No!
The girls told police they were scared of what he might do one day.
Get out!
The videotaping of the girls, without their knowledge, continued by Said. Amina was starting to get afraid. She actually wrote some emails. I think it was to the geography teacher, but don't quote me on that. That her father intended to kill her, and she was afraid. And she was, disturbed by the way that her father was. When she was 16, Yasser took Amina to Egypt to allegedly to arrange a marriage for her to a much older friend of his, but Amina rejected the marriage. It was around this time that Amina began dating a boy named Joseph Moreno. She met him while taking after school taekwondo classes. The relationship quite grew. They were very much in love. She used to see him in secret, so no one was aware of the relationship that was going on. I think they ended up being with each other for 4 years before she died. One day she'd wrote a letter to Joseph, which was found by her father. She lied and said that it was just, she was just writing to an imaginary boyfriend. But Said, not trusting Amina, he continued to keep close eye on her. He was going through her phone, and he was being very invasive. Said then began to make plans to move his family to Louisville in Texas, which was 20 miles away from where they were. This prompted Amina and Marino to make plans to run off together and get married in Las Vegas and start a new life. Marino dropped out of high school in order to earn money so that he could save up enough money to do this for Amina. And during all this time, Amina was being beaten by her father, trying to find out the name of who she was seeing and being accusative. But Amina did not ever say Marino's name. In 2007, Amina and Sarah ran away with their mother Patricia to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Amina's boyfriend had relatives there, and Patricia allegedly told her daughters that December 31st was her mother's death anniversary, and that she wanted to drive there to put flowers on her grave, so that was her excuse of driving there. Now, throughout this time, they did drive the journey with the boyfriends. They got into a motel. However, Patricia was receiving constant communication from Yasser, trying to persuade her and the girls to come home. And in the end, she did actually say, "Come on, girls, let's go home." Now, Amina refused to go, and she ran off to a friend's house and refused to leave. Patricia went there and insisted, that she was to leave with them and that her father had forgiven her and would like the girls to return home. Reluctantly, the girls did believe their mother, and they started the journey back home. On January the 1st, 2008, the girls returned home. Yasser Said said that he wanted to take the girls out to dinner. Patricia, the mother, initially wanted to come along as well, but Said told her that he wanted to talk to the girls by himself. So they went with him in the back of his taxi. They waved and kissed their mother goodbye, and Yasser drove them both to Irving. He stopped outside a hotel called the Amina Mandalay Hotel, and there, in the back of the cab, he shot 17 and 18-year-old Amina and Sarah to death. Amina, who was shot twice, died instantly, while Sarah, who sustained 9 shots, she did manage to call 911 before she died. And there is a recording of that, which is extremely distressing, because it shows you can hear her last breath. She was heard saying, "Help, my daddy's shot me. I'm dying." At that point, Yasser left them in the cab and disappeared. The taxi was soon discovered by another cab driver, and obviously the police became involved. Now, Said disappeared after the killings, and he remained a fugitive from the law enforcement for about 12 years. He disappeared. After 6 years, he was actually put on the FBI 10 most wanted fugitives list for the fatal shootings of his daughters. And at this point, it was widely believed that Said killed his daughters as an honour killing. Now, it may well be that he did do it for an honour killing. I've not spoke to the man, so I don't know. My personal opinion is that there's a little bit more to this story than an honour killing. Now, it is widely believed that Yasser killed his daughters an honour killing because they were both dating American boys. Now, from what I've researched and what I've read about Yasser, he was a very controlling, abusive man. It seems like he was persistently obsessed with his 2 beautiful daughters, continuously videotaping them inappropriately and sometimes when they were unaware. I don't think personally this was an honour killing. He was not a practicing Muslim, and I just think this guy was jealous of his 2 daughters. He wanted he lusted after his 2 daughters, and he wanted them. And when they found interest and love in young boys their age, I believe this enraged him, and I believe he felt he was losing control. So Said was eventually captured on August the 26th, 2020. He was in the town of Justin, Texas, which I think was just 30 miles from when the girls were found. He was with his son, Islam, and his brother, Yasin. They were also both arrested for aiding a fugitive. Said was taken into federal custody by the FBI and was transferred to Dallas County, where he was held until his trial. His trial is absolutely all over the internet at the moment. It began on August the 2nd, 2022. It went live. So there are certain channels out there that you can just catch up on this. It's interesting that he's been in America for so many years, and yet during the trial he had an interpreter, which I find ludicrous. Interestingly, although Yasser was indicted on capital murder charges, the district prosecutors did not seek the death penalty, which is rather confusing for me. His defence, Said argued through a translator that he was not present during the murders. He said that he'd taken his daughters for a taxi ride, that it was a threat that someone was following them, and he felt that he needed to leave the car so that the attention would be taken off his daughters, leaving obviously them alone in the car. He reports that he was a target. And he kind of ran off and left them in the car, and it wasn't him that killed them. His son, Islam, pleaded guilty to harbouring a fugitive and conspiring to harbour a fugitive, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. And he was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. Yasin, which is Yasser's brother, claimed that he hated Yasser for what he did and that he would never helped him if he had known what would happen. He was found guilty of conspiracy and harbouring a fugitive and was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Yasser got life in prison without the possibility of parole. It's all over the media and social media, honour killing. I really don't believe this is an honour killing. I believe this was a dad who was attracted to his young daughters from a very young age. He was very controlling. I believe he was a paedophile. He married his first wife when she was only 15 and he was 30. I believe there's a lot more going on than this. I believe he was absolutely jealous that the girls were thinking of running off to be with guys their own age, and that meant that he had lost control. I don't know. You tell me. Leave your comments. You tell me what you think. You can look at the trial online. If you just Google the Yasser trial, it's all there for you to have a look at. And let me know what you think. All right. Thanks for the show. Take care. Toodaloo.